Hey everyone! In this video, I want to go over my 5 most basic money management principles. And if you can master these 5 things, you'll be managing your money like a pro in no time. And some of these are going to be really obvious. Some of them are going to be a little less obvious. My first principle is to plan ahead. You don't want to just think about what's going on this week, this month. You want to be able to look ahead at future months and look at what money you're going to be spending, what expenses do you have coming up that you need to plan for now. So you want to think about that, and then you also want to think about your income and your career. You don't just want to think about reducing expenses or managing expenses, but increasing your income and learning ways to make more money is also really helpful in managing your money. So what skills can you learn right now that will help you earn more money? What certifications can you get? What skills can you learn? What classes can you take? Those are the sorts of things you want to start looking at to look at what you can do now to increase your income in the future. And then my second principle is to track your income and expenses in some way or another, whether that's Excel, whether that's a notebook that you handwrite your expenses, or some sort of other software program or budgeting software. You should be tracking where you're spending your money over time. This is going to help you stay accountable, and it's going to help you to see trends of where you're spending your money over time. And then my third principle is going to be really obvious, but I have to say it because this is a money management video. My third principle is to spend less than you make. Over the course of your career, for the most part, you should be spending less money than you're earning or bringing in. Otherwise, you're going to end up in debt. Now, I'm not talking about situations where you're going to college and you're temporarily lowering your income while you learn new skills, get a degree, take a certification class, whatever the case may be. I'm not talking about those situations. I'm referring to the fact that over the course of your adulthood, for the most part, you should have more money coming in than money going out if you want to stay out of debt. My fourth principle is to have a cushion or savings at all times. Now, a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck, and that can be really stressful because when that person has an emergency, their car breaks down or something like that, they may have to use a credit card to pay for that expense. And it just creates a lot of extra stress. Your car breaking down is stressful in itself without adding to it with worrying about money and how you're going to pay for it. So I always recommend having a small savings account that is money set aside for emergencies. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. It can be just a small amount, even if it's just $250. That's better than nothing. But hopefully you'll get a small amount of money set aside for emergencies, and you work your way up to having $1,000, $2,000 in that account. And that way, if you have an emergency, you know that that money's there to use for that situation. And what you do is, if you have a situation where you need to dip into that money, you would just work a little extra hard for a couple months to replenish it. But the fact is, it's less stressful and easier to manage money if you have a little extra and you're not living in that paycheck to paycheck situation. So I always recommend that. If you're having a hard time getting a savings to begin with, my suggestion would be to get a side job or find a way to earn extra money for a little bit, and not necessarily permanently, just a little bit just to get ahead. Or if that's not an option, you may have to really cut some expenses for a while until you can get that savings account built up. But I definitely recommend having one. And then my last principle is something a little less obvious, but I think it's really important in managing your finances, and that's to not have a scarcity mindset. And what is a scarcity mindset? It's this constant feeling or mindset or way of thinking that you don't have enough money to meet your needs. In other words, you have that constant feeling of not having enough. And that can be really damaging. It can be really stressful if you stay in that place. Now, you may have a little bit of money stress temporarily while you have a money situation or a money crisis, and that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly normal. But my point is not to stay there, because you are wasting your energy in that place for a long period of time. Instead of being in the place of worrying about money, you could be using that time and energy and focus to think about what you could be doing to improve your situation. In other words, you want to think about things like, what skills can I learn? What classes can I take? What side hustles can I get temporarily to improve my situation? In other words, I recommend being more solutions focused as opposed to scarcity focused. And I know that's hard if you are like me and you grew up in this scarcity mindset type of household where it was constantly talked about not having enough money. It's just not a good place to stay, is my point. So I definitely recommend trying to change your mindset and focus more on what you can do, and also just have confidence in your ability to make money. Have confidence in your ability to learn the skills that you need to make more money, earn more money, and come up with solutions for your situation. So I hope this video was helpful, and just stay tuned for more videos related to this. I plan on making a few videos on the second topic, tracking your income and expenses. So watch for those, subscribe so that you can see those in the future. And please comment below if you have any questions about any of these principles that I talked about. Or if you have your own helpful tips, please feel free to comment. I would love to hear them. Thank you so much for watching.